So after a veteran round of international matches, the dust is settling as regards countries who will qualify for the next FIFA World Cup. It's in 2026 to be hosted by 3 countries, USA, Mexico, and Canada. As it stands, various continents are electing teams who will be representing them. South America looks all but concluded. Then there is the case of Africa. 2 countries have qualified so far. The rest set to join them. In Europe, it's begun for some countries, and for some, they are near negotiating that bend where they will decide whether they make it or they do not make it. Hi, welcome to the 4 Post Podcast. And on this episode, we discuss the journey to USA, Mexico, and Canada. My name is Michael Asare, Boadu, and to do this with me is Michael Akomea on my left.
I got you.
And then Fiifi, Manfred on my right. Definitely, we are about to have that conversation. We're gonna go to the World Cup. Well, as part of the discussions, you will get to know what the permutations are. And also, we shall reveal to you the countries that have already qualified to the Mundial. It is going to be wonderful. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned, and we'll be back. Hi, welcome back. So we started conversations from what is happening in South America, the CONMEBOL region. It is a region that has produced a lot of world champions. Uruguay won the maiden edition. Brazil are the all-time winners in terms of most wins at the competition. There is Argentina, the current holders, and they will be present in the tournament next year. But this is how things are so far. It looks like it's all but wrapped, right?
Yes.
For South America.
Definitely.
Argentina were definitely the best side.
Yeah.
So this is how the standings were for South America. After 18 matches, Argentina topped and they had 38 points. Ecuador, they were second with 29 points. Then Colombia followed in. They were third on 28 points. Uruguay fourth, 28 points. Brazil were fifth, 28 points. And I think statistically, this is one of their worst ever runs as regards the qualification process. And then Paraguay occupied the final automatic qualification slot on 28 points. There was an interesting one between Bolivia and Venezuela. Bolivia, by virtue of beating Brazil by a 0-0 at home, meant that they qualified for the Intercontinental Playoff, and they have a chance to be at the World Cup for the first time since 1994. Guys, it looks like the South American qualification is that unique.
Yeah, very interesting.
Everybody wants to play each other.
Yes, I think home and away 9 is literally 10 teams.
Yeah, 10 teams.
So you play 18 games.
Exactly.
And I think it's all over now.
Yeah.
TCC and Argentina now they can't qualify.
Definitely.
Campaign.
And this is their record.
World champions.
12 wins, 2 draws, and then 4 defeats.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brazil win there, right?
Yeah, Brazil qualified. They were 5th.
12 wins.
Yeah, 5th.
Wow.
The same points as Uruguay, Colombia, but relatively they were not in the top positions by virtue of not a superior defense.
Ecuador has also gone through.
Yeah, Ecuador were the best defensive team.
Yeah.
Their goal against was 5. They considered just 5 goals in 18 matches.
Wow.
Yeah.
So first of all, if you are assessing even Argentina, they lost a game against Ecuador. They lost a game against Paraguay, far away.
Yeah.
They lost a game against Uruguay.
Yeah.
That is at home.
Yeah.
Wow.
And even for Ecuador, they were docked 3 points.
And they lost away to Colombia.
Yeah, but they were even docked 3 points for use of false bet document for a player, Byron Castillo.
Yes.
So he played in a game he was not supposed to, and they were deducted 3 points. So, but for that, they would have had like 32 points close to Argentina.
Yeah. But Mike, I think it is quite impressive for Argentina. I've seen teams play the World Cup, win it, and at the end of the day, they falter during the qualifications. I think they stamp their authority on a lot of games in the qualifications.
Okay.
Especially when they knew things were going to go through for them.
Yeah.
When you go away to Colombia and you lose, I don't think it's a big of a problem, Fiifi.
Yeah.
Because it's a very good team. We can't underrate Colombia. But I think where we are going to raise questions is home against Uruguay. I know it's one of the greatest rivalries you can ever see in terms of international teams. Marcelo Bielsa, we all know what he can do and all of these things. But Argentina at home, it wasn't really the results I was expecting from that particular game. Paraguay away lose good. Colombia away lose good. I think Ecuador too is also a good team.
Yeah.
So losing at home is quite the surprising results I can take from this Argentine team. But one thing I'm happy about them is they've been able to blend two teams together. You know, when they played with Messi and when they didn't play with Messi, in the absence of Messi, Lautaro Martinez, now the introduction of Franco Mastantuano, who just joined Real Madrid, there's still Rodrigo de Paul in this particular team. Even in the absence of players like Angel Di Maria for the national team, they've brought in, I think Thiago Almada is also there. You can talk about Simeone is also there, quality player by all standards. Simeone, no. I think Diego Simeone's son, Juliano Simeone. There's still Molina, who has enough experience in this team, and there's still Nicolas Otamendi, who offers enough leadership in this particular Argentine team. There's the Enzo Fernandez in that particular midfield, who's also giving them a lot. I think they have quality squad depth. And they deserve to be champions in the first place, but they've really stamped their authority in the other games to ensure the fact that we are the best team in the world, we remain the best team in the world, and we are going to the World Cup to beat every single team over there. I think I love this Argentine team. Scaloni doesn't laugh, you know, he doesn't always smile. The gentle killer, just on the bench, look at you quietly. Charlie, shows is here. But I think what I can take from the Argentine team is Fiifi. They've proved that they are the best on the continent, and they are the best in their region.
So what do you think they've done well?
I think that the Argentine team is a clear-cut example of why you need to marry the various parts of football to be successful.
Yes.
One of the things that's helped them is that they look like a unit, just one unit. And they had one course in 2022. Their course was Messi should win the World Cup. And once their course was won and they were united towards that cause, they were literally unbeatable. I mean, when they lost 3-0, was it 3-0 to Iran at the time? Saudi Arabia. We all said, wow, what's going to happen here? But if you watch that World Champions documentary, they speak about how they went back to the stadium and they say, we know it's going to happen. I remember there was a part where Angel Di Maria says that his wife and his mother sent, you know, there's this red thing that they put on their hand. So Enzo Fernandez puts on his hand and puts on the armband. Some of them put it on their feet. So he said his mother sent him a whole band from Argentina. And before the game against Mexico, right? He was cutting it for everybody. It's Obama the outside dressing room who will track a crown their mouth.
Like he carries a lucky charm.
Apparently carries a lot of charm, and they said that they wanted to do that for Lionel Messi. And I think that was the main thing. Again, they also had a coach that was a different temperament from what they had known. I mean, they had gone through somebody like Diego Armando Maradona, they had gone through Isabella, all of those top Argentine names. But then look at somebody like Sampaoli and all of these names. These are names that we had known in Europe. But then when Lionel Scaloni took up the job, he made them understand that they are the real bosses. He's just in there to manage them. And somebody like Paulo Aimar was also another figure who, yes, there is Lionel Messi, there is Angel Di Maria, but there was a certain Pablo Aimar before all of these names. They essentially laid the ground for them to go and fight for Lionel Messi. And the photo of play was clear. That game against Netherlands was a proper testament of what the Argentines really stood for. You remember in that pre-match press conference, Louis van Gaal had mentioned that if you look at someone like Angel Di Maria, he knows him. He had worked with him at Manchester United. He essentially mentioned that Angel Di Maria was not good enough. Then they took it personal. So even in games like that, it was about defending the name of Angel Di Maria. And Di Maria was on the bench, came on, and was an influence in it. They fought tooth and nail to make sure they got that qualification. So for me, I went for the tactics. I mean, the tactical structure was there. 4-4-2, let's be compact. Let us find a way to use somebody like, what's his name? Julian Alvarez. And I think that the usage of Julian Alvarez was a key to their team. They got the best out of Enzo Fernandez in the deep line playmaking role with Alexis McAllister. And only when they needed a lot of cover from wide areas, then they would add Rodrigo de Paul and the likes to play more like wingers, but then part of the midfield four to be very combative and physical. So it was a combination of excellence and good profiling of the team, coupled with a good tactical structure, plus a set of players and young men who are united. I mean, post the World Cup, Rodrigo de Paul doesn't even mind. Now he has moved to US of A just to go and stay by Lionel Messi. You can tell that it's a proper family, and that was something that they were missing. In the past, Argentina wanted to win, but it really was just Messi wanted to win. This time, it was Messi wanting to win, but then Argentina wanted to win it for him.
Yes,
and that's exactly what they did in the World Cup 2022. Yes, in the qualifying rounds, I think that they've done good. That game against Ecuador really showed me that Ecuador is also one of those emerging forces
you need to really look out for.
That you need to look out for.
Intensity.
They are such a.
I was really impressed with them at Qatar.
The interesting thing is the other countries that have qualified: Colombia, Ecuador. So Ecuador finished second, Colombia third.
Yeah.
They have Argentine managers.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Nestor Lorenzo for Colombia.
Yes.
And he actually took them on it was a 28 game unbeaten run.
Wow.
He took them to their first Copa America final in 20 something years when they lost to Argentina in 2024.
Wow.
He's actually modeled this team into a very difficult one to beat.
To play against.
So he's a very good coach. And then for Ecuador, they also have an Argentine.
I think there's Becca Sisse or something like that.
And the Ecuadorian national team is also full of strong personality.
Of course.
For a couple of years now, they are getting a lot of their players as big names and important players in their clubs in Europe. And they've built it around an attack that's not too good. That's not the best. But then again, it's solid. Of somebody like Kendrick Paye, who's a young player coming to the ranks at Strasbourg, and then also Enner Valencia and the likes. I
think if you have a proper spine of Hincapie, Patu, and Caicedo with Enner Valencia, I think this is a strong. There's also one guy, Vite, who's closer to Caicedo most of the time. But you see, one thing I'm impressed with the South American game is when you are good enough for the national team, despite your age, they are going to fix you. Because you look at Enner Valencia, you look at Lionel Messi, you look at James Rodriguez.
These were young people.
Yes.
Look at this Kendrick Paye guy. I mean, for Brazil, Estevão Willian played, had his first call-up.
And there's still Casemiro starting for Brazil.
Yeah.
So if you are good enough, it doesn't matter about the age. But Fiifi, what is happening to Chile?
The Chilean national team, I think
my very own Chile.
I think
my favorite player, Gary Medel.
For a country like Chile, I think their golden generation had to do it. They are Alexis Sanchez, that era.
That my striker, everlasting striker.
Vargas.
You never hear his name doing club football.
He shows up at the World Cup. So for them, they have had this challenge of trying to bring up talents to match up to what those ahead of them or those preceding them delivered. And that has been the challenge for Chile. It is about matching up. Some people set the standard and you fail to match up. But for context, before we close the chapter on South America, so for the countries that have qualified, Argentina will be playing at their 18th FIFA World Cup.
Wow.
Yep, they've made this. They'll be making their 19th FIFA World Cup appearance. They've made 18 previously, and then for Ecuador, this will be their 5th World Cup appearance, and they are making a back-to-back appearance at the Mundial. The last time they did this was in 2002 and 2006. Colombia will also be making their 7th appearance at the World Cup, and they are back in the competition for the first time since 2018. Uruguay are also making their 15th appearance. Their last was in 2022. So they were there in 2010, 2014, 2018, and 2022, which is an impressive run for them. For Brazil, they've always showed up at the World Cup, and so they are coming the 23rd time that Brazil will be at the FIFA World Cup. And for Paraguay, it's their 9th and their first since 2010. Wow. So that is it for the South American countries that will be playing at the FIFA World Cup. There's not so much.
Are you scared for Brazil coming into the World Cup next year?
Now, I think this is the best time for them to prepare. Now, Ancelotti has had some knowledge about his squad. He knows what he has to do from now. So he has enough time to prepare, and he's going to actually scout for the best local talent, and he showed that he's a manager who's not scared of taking bold decisions. You mentioned Estevão, very young. He throws him in just to come and have a feel of a national side and see as to whether he fits in there. Then Casemiro. I read something from Oglobo, and Oglobo was saying that there are 3 players who are now untouchable in the Brazilian squad: Casemiro, Bruno Guimaraes, they are part of that three-core group. So clearly it tells you that he's not afraid to take bold decisions, working with players who relatively we might think their time has passed. Casemiro still has something to offer. Bruno Guimaraes, we know what he has to offer. So I think Ancelotti has enough time ahead of him.
Mike, I've gone to love Casemiro. I think his mentality nowadays has gone to a different level. He was cast out of the Manchester United team, fought his way back into the team.
Yeah.
He was cast out of the Brazil national team, fought his way back into the national team.
Yeah.
Not only as part of the squad, but is now an important player in the setup. There's a reason why he won 5 Champions League titles. He is the man. And if you have a player like Bruno Guimaraes closer to him, you are really going to help him. Because he is not going to be doing the running. It's all over here. Yes, definitely they have a very good squad.
Let's see how it goes. There'll be enough time for us to discuss the chances of these countries who've qualified from South America to play at the World Cup. The holder is actually from South America. And the last time we saw South America do a back-to-back, it's been quite some long time. 1990 was for West Germany. Right? 94 was Brazil. 98 was France. 2002 Brazil. 2006 it came to Europe with Italy. 2010 it stayed in Europe with Spain. 2014 it stayed in Europe with Germany. 2018
went back to 2018 was Europe. Yes.
Then 2022 South America. Argentina. So let's see what happens with who gets to win 2026. Enough time to discuss that. But in Europe, there's not much to look at in terms of countries who have qualified. But it is about some who have started brightly and for some who've had starts. Let's talk about Germany losing their first game to Slovakia, bouncing back to win their next game against Northern Ireland. France did back-to-back wins in the 2 games they played in the qualification process. They beat Ukraine and then they beat Iceland yesterday. Then also wins for the Netherlands in their second game, but they disappointed in their first game where they drew against Poland. England did a back-to-back, and the second one was in style because they demolished the Serbian side. The European countries and how they are faring so far, I think so far, the country we can actually look at and say that clearly by how they have started, they will qualify, will be Spain, France, Portugal. Not so much to say about Germany, but maybe we can add Thomas Tuchel's England.
England, I think that Thomas has done very well. I mean, there's one thing about Thomas, especially from his Chelsea days, he's not scared to make decisions. I mean, I saw the England team go away to Serbia, to Prague, and I'm like, okay, can you go to Prague away and then go and beat them? Can you beat Serbia? And there's a Serbian team that has the names, it has the boys. There's a team that has your man Sasa Lucic. He has what's the name, Dusan Vlahovic and all of these names that can really hurt you if you don't take care. I mean, Nottingham Forest has a very good centre back, Milankovic. These are strong, combative guys. So I really watched that game closely, expecting to see something happen from the Serbian point of view. But I mean, I think that Thomas Tuchel is doing the simple things in England, and it's about finding balance. So I think that one of the mistakes that Gary Southgate did in his time was to lump sum almost everybody together in the team. The absence of Jude Bellingham has helped Thomas Tuchel to an extent where he could express in that midfield, brought in a ball carrier in Morgan Rogers, then had Anderson centrally to control the game. And that's the thing. For a long time, the Three Lions had never played with a controller in the middle of the park who was a pure six. They tried with Kobe Mainu and the likes, who wasn't too good without the ball. And that balance the last time was a good one. I think that one of the good things about Thomas Tuchel is that he's not scared to make bold decisions. And there are going to be times that Thomas Tuchel will probably say, you know what, I don't want to call this player, like he didn't do for Trent Alexander-Arnold. He says that he wants to use Reece James in there and add some more quality to it, add Jet Spence to the team for the very first time. So I am particularly excited about the English team. It will not be nice football, I know, but what Thomas Tuchel would love to do is to bring them the success that they want, that they've yearned for. They've come close in the Euros, they've come close in the World Cup. They would want to make that step. And I think that England is one of those teams. They have the players that have played at that level and understand what it means to be able to be a top player. They have the players that have seen it all. I mean, the world football, played in big games in the Champions League and what have you. So obviously, you know that these are games that the English boys will stand up to it. It's not going to be easy. My team, but one team I've particularly been interested in is the Norwegian team.
Yes, that is where I was coming to.
And they've almost done the job.
An impressive.
Yeah, 15 points already.
24 goals, 3 conceded.
I mean that is a good team. And well balanced as well. I mean,
in the same group with Italy,
Israel. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you may focus only on the attack, but they have a very good crop of midfielders as well, heralded by Martin Odegaard, who makes sure that there is a creative fulcrum that takes around him. It's a good team. It's a very, very good team, the Norwegian team.
So if you're looking at it, you know.
So this is how their midfield looks like.
Okay.
Sander Berge.
Yeah.
Then Martin Odegaard.
Martin
Odegaard.
Then Ryerson of Dortmund plays as a right wing back.
Yeah.
And then Meyer also plays as a left wing back. But the interesting part to me has to do with the attack. So Antonio Nusa of Leipzig, excellent young attacker.
Yeah.
Erling Haaland, definitely
we know.
Then Alexander Serov is also there, and he can contribute his bit when called on. And then they have Oscar Bob of Manchester City, who is also part of the attack. So they actually have a very decent squad, and on a good day, they can do a job.
I was looking at their next few games. You know, they'll be going away to Italy. Difficult game. They'll be playing at home to Estonia, which I believe they are going to win. They are going to play at home against Israel, which I actually believe they are going to win that particular game. So looking at their next 3 games, because there are 5 teams in the group, that means you are playing 8 games. So the next 3 games, 2 home games, 1 away game. They are currently leading Italy by 6 points.
Having played a game more.
Mike, I think this could be Norway's year.
Yeah, going into the World Cup. And I think they've not been there in a very long time.
I think the last time Norway actually played
this could be their year.
Should be somewhere in 1998.
Yeah.
Don't you want to see Erling Haaland at the World Cup?
Of course. Correct it, but I think the last time they played at the World Cup should be 1998 for the Norwegian national team. So let's see how far things go for them, because with all the talents that they have, I for one held this view that if Haaland wasn't a Norwegian, and maybe
I think the last time was Mike. It has been 3 appearances. Their first was in 1938, and their last one was in 1998, round of 16. I think it's good to see. It's good to see these quality players over there. But the Italian national team also need to back up.
Who?
The Italian national team also need to. But they can't afford to miss another World Cup. They can't.
Interesting.
They just can't afford to miss another World Cup.
Let's see what happens in Europe, but definitely the dust hasn't settled that much over there. But it is a different case in Africa. 2 countries qualified during this window. Morocco have booked a ticket to the FIFA World Cup, and they've done it with their brothers Algeria, and it's going to be an interesting one. But a lot more slots to be decided, but certain countries got closer to the picture in terms of who makes it and who does not make it. Let's start with Group A, and that's where it gets interesting. So Egypt needed a win in their last game to cement their status as a qualified team to the next World Cup, and they scored a goal, and it was unjustly ruled as offside. So they ended up drawing 0-0 against Burkina Faso, but they are on top of their group, and Egypt have 20 points.
Wow.
Having played 8 games. Burkina Faso are second. They have 15 points. They have 2 games remaining regarding these 2 countries. Egypt have an away trip to Djibouti, and then Burkina Faso have an away trip to Sierra Leone. Then the last game for Egypt is a home game against Guinea-Bissau, and then for Burkina is a home game against Ethiopia. Egypt needs just a win or at worst a point to qualify. I think it is basically job done.
Yes,
it should not be difficult
to see Egypt at the world stage. It's quite unfortunate that Burkina Faso wouldn't have the opportunity to come in. After Ariste Bansi, Jonathan Petroipa, you know, most of these guys in this team, I think if you have the likes of Dayo, Tapsoba, most of these guys who have come into the team with enough experience on the continent and even outside it, you'd understand that this is a team that you realize that they had opportunity to come to the World Cup. But all hope is not lost, because definitely they can finish the group at second place with 21 points. And 21 points can literally put them in a position where they can go in for playoffs.
That is, if Egypt should lose.
If Egypt should lose 1 and draw 1. No, I'm even talking about a second position to actually push for a playoff position. And let's see how it actually works out for them. But I'm happy with their team. But Egypt, Mohamed Salah, Umar Mamouche, most of these guys, they deserve to be there. And I think they have a good squad. They've been consistent. If you want to qualify on a continent, looking at how difficult it is, you need to be very consistent, even in your away games. And that is what Egypt have actually done. Because 8 games, that is literally 24 points. And they have 20 out of it. 20 out.
And they are being coached by their
of 24.
player, Hossam Hassan.
Hossam Hassan. Good resource. But I think Burkina can fight for the second place and going for the playoffs.
But that playoff is a long journey.
It's a long journey, but you definitely have to also accept it.
It's going to be very interesting.
And relish your chance.
I'm really looking out for that playoff.
Well, we'll look at the scenario for the playoffs. But in Group B, it's got a lot of people talking about what happened yesterday. So DR Congo were on top of that group. They are 16 points. Senegal trailed them by just a point, and they were second. Now, it was a make or break for DR Congo. If they had beaten Senegal, it would have given them what would look like an unassailable 4-point lead. They took a 2-0 lead. Then Senegal had to claw back into the game and not just draw, they won. Beautiful comeback, 3-2 at the expense of DR Congo, leading to vandalism at the stadium. Senegal are now favorites to qualify. They have 18 points after 8 matches, and then DR Congo have 16 points after 8 matches. 2 more games to play. Fiifi, interesting picture.
Yeah, I mean, big one for the DRC, because they have not beaten Senegal in 5 decades since 1969. It's been a very long time, and they wanted to do it, and they were that close to doing it. And for an 80,000 seater capacity stadium to be full 4 hours for the time tells you the story. And this is a country that has been war torn for a very long time. And mind you, that is the first country south of the Sahara that went to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they have history when they were Zaire and they went through war.
In
And they had to come back.
1974.
Now they have brought in players from France and Belgium who are from families who had moved out of the country during those times or when the war came, especially in Belgium. And we usually focus on France, but most of their people are in Belgium.
Yeah.
They've gotten these guys back. And you look at the names: Chance Mbemba, Atamaswaku,
Bukambu,
Juan Wissa, and of course
Wan-Bissaka.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Quality all across the team. So I can tell that they felt deep within them that if there was a time to beat Senegal,
This was the time.
it was yesterday.
And it was
They
that
hadn't even
close.
considered at home.
Yeah,
in
and
their
they are not
first
considered.
matches.
Wow,
It was that close.
they knew that this is it, and there's a team that can get a job, and they pushed it. But to be very honest, the Senegalese national team showed class. They showed that they are head and shoulders above a lot of teams on the continent. Because trust me, in such a hostile environment, you are down by 2-0. they equalize one, go to the break and come, and then the quality. Pap Matsa, I've said it several times. See, in terms of covering ground in all over Europe, only a few midfielders come close to the hard-working ability of Pap Matsa. I mean, Nicolas Jackson got a good goal for them as well, and it was 3-2. What it means is that Senegal are almost there as well. The next 2 games, I think it's against Eswatini, and then one other team. It's not.
If they win, one of their remaining 2 games,
Yeah, they're true.
they have qualified.
I mean, I hope Congo can go, because I would have loved to see Congo there and go through the ranks. So it's a good one for Senegal, and I like the fact that they've done well.
So the remaining games for Senegal, they have a an away game against South Sudan, and then their
Yes.
final game is at home to Mauritania. It should be chopped.
It should be a walk in the park.
Definitely. And DR Congo have a home game against Sudan, but I expect CAF to take decisions against them. It is likely they might play behind closed doors, looking at the footage of what we saw, and then they have an away game against Togo. So let's see what happens in that. But in Group C, that's where it gets interesting. The Super Green Eagles of Nigeria, it looks like they might not be flying to USA, Mexico, or Canada, because they are in very deep, in a very difficult situation. Let me put it that way. Very tough for them. In Group C, South Africa are top, 17 points. Benin second, 14 points. Nigeria third, 11 points. Rwanda are fourth, 11. Lesotho and then Zimbabwe are already eliminated. But this is the situation. South Africa qualifying at the expense of Benin and Nigeria. Akomea, how did we get here?
a team dominated by local players, Orlando Pirates, Mamelodi Sundowns, and I think yesterday I really enjoyed Mbokazi, the 19-year-old kid, strong, has a good drive, could tackle so well, intercept so well, solid in the area duels. I think he's one to watch for the future, and I really loved his confidence yesterday against Nigeria. Nigeria has only won 2 games. That was against Rwanda away and Rwanda at home, which is quite poor of the Nigerian national team. I don't know if it is true, but there are reports from various Nigerian media outlets that they've not been paid their bonuses for 30 good games.
I think that was confirmed by
reputed
Nigerian journalist Oluwaseun Okeleji.
Yeah.
He works for the BBC. He mentioned that in an interview with TFM today.
And I think it is one thing that could really demotivate these guys to fight for their nation. But I think this is not about attitude, but I think it is more about tactics and selection within their national team. And yesterday, when I was watching the game, you could see that players like Ademola Lookman wants to do it. Calvin Bassey wants to do it. He wants it more. You look at most of their guys, Wilfred Ndidi, they want it more. But I think for tactics, for system, for choices to get the right balance for their team is not there. You look at their midfield combo, you look at their centre-back combos. How can a team that played the AFCON final just come back and be playing poor like this? I think Eric Sheller needed to do a lot of things to make sure that this team gets back to their peak. It looks so sad, but I think they can comfort themselves that they've qualified for the AFCON. Just maybe they can do something for themselves and also get a playoff slot. But let's just not forget that yesterday Benin beat Lesotho by like 5-0 or something like that. And you look at the Beninois team and they are ready to also push forward and make sure to make a history. At least if they can't qualify for the main competition, they are going to push for the playoffs. And you look at the points gap between South Africa and Benin, it's 3 points.
And there could be a potential situation where South Africa is docked 3 points.
Yes.
Yeah, South Africa will likely be deducted 3 points for fielding an ineligible player in their game against
Lesotho. If it should happen,
and if that happens, it means it will be 14-14. Then it comes to the final 2 games.
So they can even start to benefit ahead of Nigeria.
Exactly.
Yes.
So Nigeria have an away game against Lesotho. We played in South Africa. Then Benin have an away trip to Rwanda. And then South Africa will play Zimbabwe in South Africa.
There's Nigeria, Benin.
Then the final game is Nigeria at home to Benin. Lesotho, they are already out. Then it will be South Africa, Rwanda in South Africa. So South Africa literally have 2 games to play on home soil. Although on paper it's 1 away and then 1 at home. That is how things stand. Then things are not really decided yet, but South Africa are definitely the favorite. And they've actually been very consistent for the past 4 years. The technical direction of the team has remained intact. So I think we have to give it to them. And they've had a program that's been running effectively. But the story of Cape Verde in Group D, 19 points, beating Cameroon yesterday to establish a 4-point lead. They have 2 games to play. One of them is at home against Eswatini.
USA will love Cape Verde. Mike, Fiifi, USA will love Cape Verde.
The women?
Bro.
Yeah. I actually want to see them there because
I
think it's nice to see. Those are very pretty
island babes.
Correct.
So for context, Cape Verde is that small island country. They basically joined FIFA and CAF. CAF was like after 2000. That was when they joined CAF. So it tells you that they did not really mature into their football. But from 2013. They've showed up at the AFCON. Then they will likely be showing up at the World Cup in 2026. It's remarkable. And there's a country we do not really fancy, but they've had to rely on.
Now, let me tell you a story.
Portuguese heritage and all that.
I think Cape Verde had a game against Equatorial Guinea at the AFCON. I think at a Bimpe. Then they had a bus full of pretty fair ladies, calm, nice ladies. Then we're in a queue. They use the main gate where journalists used to enter Bimpe. Very long queue over there. Then one of them gets down, Fee. All attention just turned.
Who? The Cape Verdean woman?
Boy!
At Ebimpe, when you guys were there.
No, skin! Body! Color!
It's an island country. So what is
Obia! At the Obia! Every block, including security.
They hype the girls.
Tell them, no! Them be!
Cape Verde women.
Tell me! Almost Jamana. Me na kwana ka me chomoka sani. Masa. Fee. USA. And is Ken West mun na ba ko ware.
I think they deserve it. They deserve it. They are also one of the most consistent, and they have a very aged squad.
Yeah.
Players over 30.
Oh, am I ever laugh, baby?
So
Baby.
kudos to them.
Baby.
Kudos to them. I think they've done well. Then in Group E, Morocco have qualified. So what is left is for a place in the final playoff. But Tanzania don't have much points. They have 10. And it looks like it will be difficult for them to get into the fourth slot for the best second place teams. And then in Group F, yesterday, Ivory Coast forced an away draw against Gabon. And
I think that's a good result.
they are still top of Group F. They have 20 points. Gabon have 19.
Yeah.
And it means that Ivory Coast will need to get 3 points in, okay, let's say if they need to win.
But Ivory Coast is yet to concede a goal
in the competition.
Wow.
Yeah, they've not lost 2, unbeaten. So
wow.
Yeah. And so that is it. Group G, Algeria. No, Tunisia have actually qualified. When I was doing the intro, I said Algeria. Tunisia are the ones who have qualified. So Algeria are there. They have 19 points, 4 more ahead of Uganda. And that is how things stand. In Group I, Ghana, Madagascar. They are vying for the main spot alongside Comoros. And then that's how things are in that group. Let's wrap up with Ghana's group, and then we'll just take our listeners and our viewers through the rankings of the runners-up and what will happen with the playoffs.
Yes, Mike, I think I'm happy with whatever that has happened in Group I. As a Ghanaian, I relish the opportunity to see Ghana compete in another World Cup. Since 2006, we've missed out on only one World Cup, which was the 2018 World Cup. We need to be there. The consistency is very important. The experience is very important. We can't go to 2022 and miss out in the USA, Canada, and Mexico. I think Madagascar, they've really pushed well. I was expecting Mali to be the tough contender in this particular group against Ghana, but they could not fight it so well. They got some bad results, and they needed to change the manager. Things picked up, and I think Ghana also stopped them in the middle of the road. Madagascar, I'm really surprised. Comoros, I think they've been a surprise package in this particular group.
Yeah.
Since 2019 coming, I think they've been a force to reckon with on the continent. They've always been the dark horse in every discussion we've been making, and I think they've also gotten players from France and co who have descendants that have come from different countries that have actually come back to their homeland to come and play. They are also an island team, right? And they are doing so well. I'm happy for them. They could also fight for the playoff slot. I think, Mike, the playoff slot could literally give a lot of money to these nations. I know FIFA is bent on committing a lot.
Right now we played in neutral grounds,
yes,
especially in Africa.
On neutral grounds. If you have the opportunity to also qualify from here, you meet people from nations from Oceania, intercontinental. That is one thing you will have to experience.
Exactly. Africa have 4. We play a semi-final.
Yes.
The 2 goes to the final.
Wow.
The winner goes to represent Africa. I think we have 1. AFC has 2. Commonwealth has 2 or so.
Wow.
So that is it.
That would be a nice experience.
As you said, there will be 4 best second place teams. And then they will play a semi-finals. They'll go to the final. The winner will be joining 1 team each from the AFC, CONMEBOL, which is Bolivia now, OFC from Oceania, and 2 from CONCACAF in the Interconfederation playoffs. And the teams will be ranked according to the FIFA Men's World Ranking, and then that is how things will be like. So when they play, the winners will meet the 2 highest ranked teams in another set of single elimination matches, and then the winners of these matches will qualify for the World Cup. So it's not even straightforward. If you make the playoffs, you would have to play a series of games to decide your fate, and that's how things.
But man, that experience alone will be top notch.
It will be worthwhile, but I think that for those who don't qualify when they enter the playoffs, they'll be getting so close by yet so far, and that will be very disappointing for them. And the runners-up, as it stands now, the rankings, there is Gabon on 19 points, and that's why it gets difficult for Nigeria. They have 11 points, and if they win their 2 remaining games, it will take them to 17 at best. And Gabon are 19 points here. If they win one of the 2 games, it takes them to the 20-point mark and beyond it. Madagascar have 16. If they win any of their remaining games, they go to 19. DR Congo have 16. If they win any of their remaining games, they also go to 19. Burkina Faso 15. If they win, they get to 18. Cameroon 15. If they win any of their remaining games, they get to 18. So it means even if Nigeria win their 2 remaining games, there is no guarantee that they will make it as part of one of the best 4 second place teams. And that is where the challenge is.
Wow, because if Nigeria should get to the playoffs,
they can correct things. But now,
when they get to the playoffs,
the reality is they can win their 2 remaining games but still not make the playoffs. And that's the story of the Super Green Eagles. On this note, we draw down the curtains on today's discussion on the international window and what happened during the month of September 2025. For those who have qualified already, Tunisia, Morocco from Africa, we say congratulations. Those who are set to qualify, we want to urge you to keep on working hard. Those who didn't, sorry for your disappointment, and hopefully you will learn from your mistakes and bounce back stronger. But it's an end for Marcia FM Studios, the 4 Post Podcast. My name is Michael Asare, Boadu, Michael Akomea, Fiifi, Manfred. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to comment on all the issues that we discuss on this platform. Bye.